Yo, welcome back to This Channel Wins. I'm Vegas Dave, and I got a little bit of a confidence boost after last week, going 5-6, and missing on probably the worst beat of the weekend. Everybody considered Atlanta to be more or less a solid favorite last weekend, and they came out and shit the bed. I think even with Kirk Cousins, Miami is so poor that people expected the situation to be a little bit different, and it was not. So that was a bummer, but hopefully there's people out there that see these picks and they play them individually and not as a parlay, because that would have been a fun weekend for you. 5 out of 6. Every other game came flying through also by, however, like 5, 6, 8 points each. So the big covers we bet on weren't even a problem, which again is something that hopefully will show itself now that the season has progressed and we can actually kind of have an idea of what both teams are going to bring to the table. Like, getting surprised by Miami is something that probably won't happen too many more times throughout the season. And then also Atlanta defense coming out and thinking that a team is not going to show up against them is probably not going to happen again for the rest of the season. So, like, we missed a good one right there. Nobody probably saw it coming, but the people maybe in the locker rooms. One side is ready to go, one side was not. And that's all it takes sometimes. These teams are so good. So we stay with the formula. We fade the bad teams. We take our good teams, and we risk the points when we need to. So this week, I say we're even in a worse setup this week, because these spreads are painful, and they've already moved in our favor, or not in our favor, but moved sort of against us, like moved towards our side, but giving us a bigger spread to cover. So these are bets you probably would have wanted to make on Monday, as they've all moved at least about a point by now. But again, we stay with the formula. Good coaching, good defense, good offense is gonna beat bad. So some of these games I didn't even really have to bother handicapping too much, because again, I cannot see a world where the team that is so bad beats a team that is so good. So we'll get started. First pick is a game that might be a little bit more up for grabs, which is interesting, being my number one pick of the week. But I think at this point in the season, where the Vikings are at, and with their lack of quarterback and their lack of just sort of explosiveness, they've got an okay defense. Flores is calling a pretty good games, but they're about to take on a Super Bowl favorite. So come on, here we go. All right, the Vikings might be the best team we're playing against, but that does not mean they're a good team. So we are fading the Vikings and taking the Lions this week. The Lions offense scores about 31 points a game, while the Vikings offense scores just about 22 points a game. So right there, we're covered the spread. That's 9 points. So some of these games, you look at a specific number, and then you find the spread, and you go, oh, did they just subtract the total offense versus the other team's total offense? Looks like it. They did on this one, because their defenses both hold the opposing team to roughly the same amount of points. So Detroit holds teams to 22, while Vikings hold teams to 23. So anyway, something's got to give if this is going to land on the spread or near the spread. But according to the stats, offensively, the Lions are 9 points better than the Vikings, so we can hope for that to come through. But again, it's at that point in the season where if the Lions really want to take a stronghold in the NFC North, they got to win these games. They got to go out and beat the Vikings, and it doesn't have to be convincing for their sake, but for the sake of their momentum and how the optics look for them and how they are going to go into the last half of the season, because we're at the halfway point. I think they're going to want a nice win here. I think they're going to want to show that the Vikings are not a contender in this division. And according to all the metrics, the Vikings are the worst team in the NFC North. So we got the best team in the NFC North taking on the worst team in the NFC North. This is a simple matchup. It's our number one favorite of the week. We're going Lions, -8.5. They got to win by 9 against the Vikings. Don't overthink it. If the Vikings win this game, it'll be what I consider like a fluke or a random They prepared, they would have all the gadget plays, and Flores would be sending blitzes from every which way on every single play, and to the point where Goff can't handle it. I don't know. It could happen, but we're gonna stick with our trends. Number 2 game, and this is a team that I should have been betting on all season, because every time I have, they've covered for me, and every time I haven't, they've covered. So we're going Rams over our least favorite team in the league, our worst team, our number 32 team in the league, the New Orleans Saints. And Lions are at home, by the way, and so are the Rams. So the Saints got to fly to the West Coast, which is actually probably an improvement for them, but they do have an okay home field advantage. So the Rams don't generally have one. Saints fans might travel well, but I'm going to stick with the Rams. And this is one of those games where I just simply go good versus bad. There's nothing that I can find on this Saints collection of stats that's going to say that they're better than the Rams. So receiving core, Rams. Running backs, depth, Rams. Maybe top end talent, Saints. Quarterback, Rams. D-line, Rams. Secondary, Rams. Special teams, Rams. Okay? 14.5 points. That's a lot. Okay, I get it. That's a lot. I might buy the hook on that to 14, but I don't care. It came out at 13.5. So either way, it was a 2-point spread, a 2-score spread. So we're going to ride it out. We're going to stick with the hot team, and we're going to keep fading the bad team so that at the end of the season, if we've only faded the teams that are 2-16, we're going to look really fucking good with our total record. So you got to stick to it. We got to stick to the plan. Rams over Saints, minus 14.5. All right, then we got the next team. We're the same thing. We're fading a bad team. This time the bad team's at home. But guess what? They haven't won there either. They haven't won anywhere. So, I mean, they won one place. I don't really remember where. We got the Chargers beating the Titans in Tennessee this weekend. And I'm putting this one third because I'm afraid of John Harbaugh's, or is it Jim? Who cares? I'm afraid of the Chargers coach's tendency to play the game based on what the other team is giving him and not taking the game and delivering his franchise a win. Like, they've had 2-score leads that have been dwindled down to 3 points or a deficit by the fourth quarter like 5 times this year. And the teams that they're doing it against are not good. It's just a matter of they almost know that they're good enough to compensate for taking a quarter off. Like, okay, well, if they can catch back up, we'll put the offense back out. That's not going to be a system that's going to work for him in the long run. I don't know what's going on with them, but like their third and fourth quarter, like the whole third quarter and the beginning of the fourth, the Chargers like take a nap and then they come out and finish games, or they started so strong that they don't have to worry about it, or they fucking lose. That's why they've lost so many games. They can't finish. So all 3 scenarios have happened to them. Their record sucks because of the last 2 scenarios where they don't finish properly or they leave a big gap and have to come back. It's halfway point, the season is over. No more excuses. If you want to be a contender, if you want to come into this to the NFL, the Professional Football League, and coach to the championship level, stop playing games. These guys can handle the workload. Force the ball down the other team's throat, score touchdowns, take points when you need them, win games by sizable margins so that everyone fears you. Like, be the dominant team that everyone thinks the Chargers are. I don't get it. If they can't overcome 1 turnover by Justin Herbert, if he turns the ball over 1 time, they've lost the games. They can't compensate for the offense not scoring on 3 of their drives because they don't even bother to play defense in the third and fourth quarter. I mean, they get, it's 14-point lead and only 1 turnover on the offense is all it takes for the team to come back. I don't know. They've just had a tough go of it. Their Washington Commanders game was gross. Their comeback against Miami was gross. They won by 4 points. They've had some wins that are just like, what are you guys doing against bad teams? So this is the worst team they're going to play for the rest of the year. This is it. This is where you get your shit right. This is where you figure out which running back is the best on your roster. It's a, 2-headed monster with Vidal or whatever. Let him run for 200 yards. This is the game where Keenan Allen and Johnston get back on track. Clean game, no turnovers. Like, focus on the little things, man. Get the W. Like, you're going away, you got to take the extra care and extra caution on the road. Do it and handle your business. Chargers minus 9.5. All right, number 4, and all these 4 picks are all going on my card. Last week I kind of cut the line at 3, and I said, hey, it's getting dicey right here, and that was the first game I lost, but like only because of the uncertainty of that Falcons offense. So not because we weren't gonna fade a bad Miami team. So here we go, continuing on. This is a fun one. This is the reason why this game is all the way down here is my least favorite of my favorites. Is because of the hilarious scenario I see right now playing out between 3 teams that couldn't be more different. So you got a gritty Panthers team that is just going to play hard. You know, they might shock some people. You got a powerhouse Packers team who has to literally shit the bed to lose games and should be playing at a Super Bowl contender level according to every analytic. And then you got the Cowboys, who are like this weird, like super offensively driven, no concern for stopping anybody, fun, globetrotter type team. Well, Packers tied the Cowboys and Panthers beat the Cowboys. And now the Panthers play the Packers. So this whole little group here is very interesting. So when the Packers go play a team that lets them score and score and score and score, maybe they don't have the defense to not run that track meet and like not get that win in the end. Panthers ran a track meet with the Cowboys too. Same thing, back and forth. And Panthers they edged them out. So this game could go down the same way Panthers-Cowboys and the same way Cowboys-Packers did. And if that's the case, it's going to be almost impossible for the Packers to cover this 13.5 point spread. Having said that, the Packers offense is scoring 28 points a game. They have the number 3 rushing defense, which isn't the which is the Panthers' priority. Cowboys were a big passing team. Maybe that's why the Packers couldn't run like that, because the Cowboys could pass on them. Maybe their run defense will keep the Panthers in front of them. The Panthers want to be able to run the ball with Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. And so if you can shut that down, maybe they're not as big of a threat. But 13.5 points seems nearly impossible. If the game is going to go like this group of games has gone. I'm betting on the fact that the Packers have woken up and changed their attitude since that Cowboys game, and hopefully they are looking for blood these days and want to win that division and realize that they can't drop shitty games if they're going to win. So we're sticking with the Packers. Again, like, there are upsets out there this weekend. This weekend, there's only 5 home favorites, and I picked them all. I took all of them. Just out of going down the line, which teams can win. All of them happen to be home teams. Let's look at the rest of the games. Okay, every single away team is favored all the way down the line. So if you want to find some upsets this week, they're not going to be road dogs. They're going to be home dogs. There it is. There's like 9 home dogs this week that are plus 2.5, plus 3 points, plus 1. Like, these spreads I'm talking about being really corny. These are basically pick'ems. Like, they gave us 7 pick'ems this week. 7 2.5 point spreads. 7 3-point spreads. We could have done that. Like, we could have made that shit up. So, focusing on my games this week are home favorites showing up at this point in the season to take care of business. Home favorites. I got one away favorite, the Chargers, on this whole list. And then if you go back through all the games this week, there's only 6 home favorites. So have fun with it. One of those home dogs is going to win. A couple of those home dogs are going to win, but they're not giving you much more than plus 150, plus 145, in some cases even less than that. But again, if you want to have some fun with it, round robin some of those home teams. Should have wrote down a couple. But anyways, next one we got. Now that we got the Packers, that's our top 4 picks. they're huge spreads. So do with what you will. Maybe a teaser is in order. If you're going to do a teaser, here's another team you can add. The final team I wrote down this week, and I think it was a little bit in anger and frustration. Pats over the Falcons by 4.5. And this line opened at 5.5 and has moved towards the Falcons to 4.5, which sucks, right? So the public is coming in, or the early bets came in on the Falcons on this game. It's like, that's the shit that drives me crazy. How can we see what we saw and then like, okay, Penix might be back? So what? I'm sorry. Penix isn't even getting paid as much as Kirk Cousins. And the man couldn't, I mean, I don't know. I've seen that Kirk Cousins play ball before. Complete passes at a high rate. I'm so confused. I know, okay, so still no Drake London. So maybe it was all London that was holding everything down. Maybe just having that 6'6" receiver, that fucking beast, is just that important to spread out their offense. Because they can't focus on Bijan because they got London on the outside. So, you know, I don't know what injury it was that made Atlanta look awful. But I'm not betting on them to do anything for a while. I'm real bummed out. Because again, I have my future on them. So I'm gonna start having to hedge that NFC again because they're just so bad. I don't trust them. If they even make the playoffs, what are we looking for? So might just be Bucks all the way, Bucks Seahawks all the way, or something like that. So yeah, we got Pats over the Falcons this weekend. It's my 5th play. If you really need one, and feel free to tease it because it's 4.5. You can get that. You can try to get that to 3 if you wait close enough to the line to the opening of the game. So hopefully you can get Pats +3 if you're going to do all these 5 on a teaser. 5-team teaser going to play you like 5 or 6 to 1. Not great, but again, take them all against the spread. Be solid payout. So recap: Lions minus the points 8.5, 9. Rams minus the points 14. Chargers minus the points 9. And Packers minus the points 13.5. This is gross. But again, if you're looking for your upsets, go home dogs. Don't go away dogs this week. Away dogs are the Vikings, Saints, Titans, Panthers, Falcons. Or are the Vikings, Saints, Panthers, Falcons. That's a hilarious parlay. Go throw that money line down. Don't get laughed out the book. But so yeah, we got the bad teams, we got the right matchups. It's just a matter of our teams performing how they're supposed to. And today we're betting that they will, like we sort of always do. But again, one of these days, if we can do it before week 17 and the favorites start pulling their starters because they already have their playoff seed set, if we can get one of these full team wins before week 16, we can try to double it up. But that's where it starts to get funky at the end of the season, where team says, oh, we got a 4-game lead on the AFC West, we can go ahead and rest so-and-so and you know, give up a game to the Raiders in December against whoever, the Chiefs or the Broncos. So we got to get our wins. We got to get our wins now, because now that we have a beat on everything, we can see who's good, who's bad. All that's going to change right before playoffs when teams start to get ready for the big show, not next week. Worried about that Atlanta pick. I'm gonna leave that one for the last for the end of the day. I gotta find out what's going on with Penix. Hopefully it keeps moving the line, because I do like Patriots money line in that. Even if I can't get the points, I kind of like them just by 1 or whatever. So yeah, we got some plays. I'm gonna run them again. I might get on if I have a fun time going through some of those home dogs. I might have some fun and throw a little home dog parlay money line, because again, 16 games, I'm pretty sure 10 of them are home dogs. Come on, let's go. This is what we're looking for. This is our trend. It's out there. I'm gonna throw a round robin in. I'll probably jump back on this afternoon and let everybody know what that is. All right, enjoy the games. Good luck.